Uh, I want to welcome you all and welcome to summer at OLLI. And let's see, summary with AI companion on. That's interesting. Stuff appeared on my um, computer. You never know. Um, we have two presenters today for Life Plan Humboldt. They are board members. JoAnn Schuch has directed marketing for Life Plan Humboldt since the project began, moving to Humboldt County in 1990. And for more than 16 years, she's had her own business designing and building custom furniture and cabinetry. That work transitioned into a kitchen design business in 2006. Active in organizations like the Humboldt Woodworkers Guild in the 90s, she designed a course for craft workers on how to market their work, introducing the concept of websites to many for the first time. After caring for three older adults in her family until their deaths, she became a founding member of Redwood Coast Village, a local nonprofit that coordinates help from volunteers for older adults who are living in their own homes. And Lindsay asked JoAnn to work on the Life Plan Humboldt project in 2019. And I just want to make a comment that Redwood Coast Village would not exist but for JoAnn. She is a master community organizer and did a wonderful job in getting that going. I had her present any number of times on Redwood Coast Village in the past. Okay, Pat. Enticed by friends and searching for eternal spring. I don't know whether that always feels right. Life Plan Humboldt board member Pat Circzyc packed up her experiences as a nurse, educator, and public health professional, left Chicago and moved to Humboldt County in 1980. Along with raising her daughter and son, she worked part-time as nursing faculty at Humboldt State University while returning to school to earn a family nurse practitioner license. She spent 5 years as an FNP and held the position of Director of Community Health and Wellness for the Indian Health Services. The majority of her career was spent educating nursing students at College of the Redwoods, HSU, Sonoma State University, and as an administrator facilitating both health career advancements and innovations in teaching. Dr. Pat, pardon me, I forgot to say that. Dr. Pat still craves thin crust tavern style pizza, Italian beef sandwiches, and continues to cheer for the Cubs 14 years after leaving her native Chicago. But I bet you don't miss the snow, do you, Pat?
That's why I left.
Yeah, I did the same reason leaving Denver. I never anticipated being in California, on the other hand, but I love it here. Absolutely adore it. So, welcome. Thank you for coming and doing this presentation. And if any of you have questions, you can put them in the chat or probably raise your hand, or you can wait till they finish and ask them at the end. So welcome aboard. We're happy to have you here.
Perfect. Hello, thank you. Thank you. So we've got a PowerPoint and they're going to bring that up. Atta girl. Oh, well, thank you so much to the OLLI crew for inviting us here. This is going to be an update on Life Plan Humboldt. It's been a big year for us, as people who are following the story know. Can we have the next slide? Today is going to be a conversation. Pat and I are going to try to stay a little bit loose. We've got slides to give us some information in writing so that people can see actual data. But we're definitely going to converse with each other, and we also want your questions if you have any questions. So if you see that chat box in the bottom, you can type things in and you can see your questions show up, and then we will try to answer them as they come up. Next slide. So the basic idea of Life Plan Humboldt, it is a project to build a mixed income, not-for-profit senior community for active adults in Humboldt County, California. It is a grassroots, community-based effort. Why do we want to do this? Well, rural communities have a high percentage of people who are 60 and over, and we all know it can be easy to get isolated when you're living in your home kind of far from town. So living alone can be isolating with little social connection and far away from services.
And we have lost a number of people in this community who were very active because as they got older, could not find a community, a place like this that they could move into. So the closest place is up in Medford or down in Santa Rosa and in Sacramento. And none of us wanted to leave Humboldt County. Once we got here, we've liked it so much that we came together to look and see a way that we could create something here.
Next slide. So both of us come to this from personal experience, and I myself was a caregiver for my mom and dad. There's Helen and Walter, and also my aunt, Lucille, who is down in Southern California. So that for 5 years, that kind of gave me an overview of what was available for seniors and what we needed to kind of help this process be a little easier.
Right.
Pat, on the other hand.
Right. So I worked as a nurse's aide when I was in high school and in college in the 60s and 70s when there wasn't Medicare rules about how long people could stay in the hospital. So families would go to the doctor with their elder parent and say, she's not feeling well. And the doctor would say, we'll admit her to the hospital. And they'd say, we'll be on vacation for 3 weeks. We'll be back. And then for 3 weeks, these people would end up in the hospital and Medicare, and it was covered and that's how it went. So I spent a lot of my time working with elders in the hospital, and I had a softness for that because I've got many generations. And this picture is my great great grandmother, who's got on the little hat and the little collar, my great grandmother and my great uncle. And I knew my great grandfather, my grandmother lived with us. I've had multiple generations and I have great respect. My area of emphasis as a nurse is in gerontology. So that's how this all came together. And then having my family as they aged living with me, and Ann Lindsay, who's my neighbor, had her family in multiple generations. We spent a lot of time talking about what were we going to do. And we knew about the Kendall Corporation, or Kendall had their very first Life Plan nonprofit community in Pennsylvania, near, what's the name of the town? Near Swarthmore. And Anne had been there and was really impressed by the music and the activity, and everybody was busy and friendly. And she remembered it. And so we started talking and saying, we'll have an elder commune. Oh, wait, how are we going to get people back and forth between the houses? and we came, and then we looked into the Kendall and looked at that model, and we're like, oh, there's something we can do like that. So we set on the path for going to different communities here and seeing what they were doing and moving forward.
And most of the people on the board have either had experience caring for elders or they've been in medicine. And I think many of the people who are involved as volunteers and supporters, have had family stories to share about, aging in this community and on others. And I think Pat really put her finger on something. We want to start a commune, basically. So
Right. An elder commune, but with a name that people will accept.
But so we have to honor our Humboldt heritage here. But so it's not going to be a commune. I'm kidding. Okay, next slide, please.
It's not going to be a commune. Well, maybe.
So the very first meeting, before any of it got started, Anne brought together a bunch of people who had an interest in this, and that was in December of 2019. And after that, we launched the campaign. So next slide. In 2020, we had our very first OLLI presentation. So OLLI is really one of our founding launch pads, and we always thank you guys for that. And after that, Pat and Anne did a thing called human-centered design.
And so what that was we got together a group, sort of a random group of people that we knew and could approach from different backgrounds, different economic places, different educational backgrounds. And I can't remember how many people there were. There were maybe 20 people that we interviewed. We had a series of questions, and we learned a lot from that. We learned that most people didn't have a plan, that it was the Niagara Falls plan of keep on going and then, oops, here's the falls, boom, what are we going to do? And we also learned what was important to people and what they believed they would need to be able to stay in the community. So it was a broad swath of folks. We got a lot of good information. And it told us that that was the thing we needed to do, was to pursue having a life plan community for ourselves and our community here.
So using that information that they found, we got together, formed the nonprofit. From that very first meeting in December, the people at that table said we have got to have uh, a reflection of the income levels of Humboldt County as much as possible. So we started talking to Rural Community Housing Corporation about how to include affordable housing, affordable senior housing.
Which nobody has done in California. There are no life plan communities that have an affordable senior housing piece. So it's an innovation.
Well, and all across America, there's nothing happening like what we're doing. A community starting something like this, a grassroots effort, and including affordable housing as part of the project is completely unique. So we're very proud of that, and we hope that will spread to other rural communities. So a big part of the job starting in 2020 was to introduce Humboldt County to this new idea of independent living, but having support there, meal plans, um, uh, activities and events, on the campus. And then we spent time researching the property sites. I think they looked at like 12 different sites. And we also started to figure out what the business model would be. So um, building this is like building a house on raw land. So everything that would go into you designing and building a house on raw land is happening, as well as we're starting a business.
As a group of people who've never worked together,
Right.
but who have all really like each other and have worked well together since we met.
Yeah, we're very fortunate with that. So it's a very complex project, but and we're very lucky to have the support of the community. Next slide, please. So there's our first OLLI presentation. If you remember, the room was packed. I think we had almost 100 people there.
At hospice.
Yeah, that was in the hospice.
We had over 100, and we were worried about whether the fire marshal will come in. We barely had enough chairs. It was pretty funny.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the fire marshal part. Yeah.
So that was in January 2020. And then, next slide, please. Oh, March 2020, COVID came. You guys might remember this happening. There was this thing that happened back then. So we had begun having these physical meetings, house parties with people. But as soon as COVID hit, we switched over to doing Zoom house parties. And we probably did about 60 of those throughout the community. So hitting different patches and talking to different groups. And you will remember that's when we all learned how to Zoom. So that was, and now we're all experienced Zoomers.
Yeah, here we are.
Yeah. Okay. Next slide. So since 2020, a lot of things happened. We could go into detail.
5 years, we take a couple of OLLI classes to do that. It may be a while.
If you've been following, the newsletter, you have an idea of the work going into it, the ups and downs. We had the Arcata property, and then Cal Poly decided they needed the Arcata properties, so that kind of we had to switch over. You can go to the next slide. That's all right. So now with the land purchase completed, this is an exciting time. We're really starting to make this thing real. Both Pat and I have visited other life plan communities and senior communities. I will say the first senior community I saw was Pilgrim Place in Claremont, California. And Pilgrim Place was a retirement community designed for retired clergy in the Presbyterian Church. And they all had golf carts, and they all fought each other because some of them were conservative and some of them were liberal. So it was a very active place, and I just really enjoyed that idea. But it started in the 60s when these kind of communities were given tax benefits for nonprofits to start them. So early in the 60s, when it was when a lot of the ones that are in existence now began, and churches and medical institutions, the Masonics, they set up a whole bunch of these kind of communities where people could live independently, but be near each other and have access to services and all kinds of things. We as a group went up and visited Rose Villa and Willamette View in Portland, both independent life plan communities. We learned a lot from them. And Pat,
And my sister lives in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, in Clark Lindsay, which is one of the longer standing life plan communities, started by two women who were sisters who were in a nursing home after being hospitalized. And they said, we can do better than this. And they put the money together to start Clark Lindsay. And I suggest if you get a chance, go and look at these websites and get a feel for, these are places that have been around for a while, and get a feel for the sophistication and the good vibe that they have even on their websites.
and we're learning from these communities, and we can lean on their experience. So when there's stuff that comes up, everybody in this industry has been really helpful. They're very excited about what we're doing. This is going to make news across the United States, and that this is a really unusual community. um, so yes, and on our website there's actually a list of different nonprofit, because we only looked at the nonprofit or not-for-profit facilities, and you could poke around, take a look at them, and if you're in the neighborhood, go visit them because it's really instructive.
And then we've also been traveling. There are two groups. There's a Leading Age California, has a great website worth checking out. And then there's also Leading Age, which is the national organization. And they have for-profit and nonprofit senior communities that come together and do advocacy and share ideas and information. We've been going to those conferences now for the last 4 years, and have met so many people who've opened up their places for us to see, their books, their information, their everything to support us and make it happen. It's a lovely community. And you realize that we're coming in at a good time because everybody's done a lot of work in the basic areas and are willing to share that. So Leading Age California and Leading Age, and you can join as a member just to join. It's always good information.
And
Is it leading age or leading edge?
Leading Age, AGE.
Okay, thank you.
and we've met people who want to do innovative work in like memory care and structuring the community. So it's been great. Anne and Pat are really good at going out and meeting people and making connections, and we're lucky to have them. Next one, please. So we're moving closer now to a community of approximately 101 cottages and apartments. We started out with 144 as being our initial idea of how many we wanted to build. But it turned out that that was like $110 million, and there was no local builder who could bond at that high level. So the builders have got to be able to have a construction bond. So with 101, we can have a bond. We're working, there were two companies here that are big enough to do it. One was Danco and the other was Pacific Builders. And we've been working with Pacific Builders and they've been great. So we're really lucky to have them. So the design of the community is going to support active aging. There's going to be a lot of walking trails, native planting, dining options, group activities, and independent living features. Next slide. So what's unique, as we mentioned before, is that there's going to be an affordable senior housing component on the campus. So we're in discussions right now with Rural Community Housing Development to split off a 2-acre parcel from that 14.5 acres that we have bought in McKinleyville, and they will develop up to 50 affordable senior apartments. So the residents of the affordable senior housing will have access to the same classes and trails and activities and events as LPH residents. This, as we said before, this range of income levels is unique in senior living communities across the United States, and we hope it will be a model for other rural communities.
Right, and we came up with this after doing these interviews and realizing that we all had the same needs, and income was not income shouldn't be the only thing that matters on how you're treated. And so the affordable housing, making that happen, from the very beginning, we started talking to
From
them.
the very beginning.
So that we could, whatever we looked at, we looked for enough space to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And we're very happy to be able to introduce that to the community as well.
Can I have the next slide, please? So just some details here on affordable housing, because I know people are interested. They will have a wait list, but it will only be available after the building is completed. They will, depending on where they get their funding, they will screen tenants based on where their funding comes from. So it's either the state, federal, or foundations, and each one has different eligibility requirements. So they can't get into detail right now, but generally speaking, the guidelines for affordable housing are seniors aged 62 or over earning 60% or less of the area median income can qualify. So that area median income is different by each county. In Humboldt, when we asked this question in 2024, a single person household earning up to $37,000 per year could qualify. So that does give a lot of leeway for the people who will be able to apply for that affordable senior housing. Okay, next slide, please. So keep in mind that, so here's where my dyslexia comes in. Rural community housing, it should say, has a lot of steps to get there. So they would like anybody to follow the development of this, look to our websites. And so our newsletter will be talking about any updates that come up with the affordable housing. And if you're not signed up for the newsletter, you go to Life Plan Humboldt and sign up for the newsletter, and then you will get updates as they go along. I think I handled that pretty well.
You did that
Yeah,
very well.
yeah, I think it's silver tongue, that's it. Okay, next one. Oh, meanwhile, so we bought the land, and once we bought the land, we're really moving into gear to get the place designed and built soon. And we have a naming campaign. We wanted to have a name that reflects the community and what we think Life Plan Humboldt will look like. So we have gotten about 300 responses, and they are really wonderful, heartfelt, local responses that I think, talk about nature and spirituality and that sense of community.
They really reflect the area
Really wonderful.
and people's good sense of humor.
We also got some funny ones. So next slide, please. So we got the Grateful We're Not Dead Yet.
But that won't fit on a t-shirt well.
Mad River Institute, MRI. I think that's pretty clever. Gray's Academy.
I like that.
Limber Ridge, kind of a play there. Hiller Villers. Meniscus Meadows is my favorite.
Grampus Campus, that's one of my favorites.
And Dottage Dell. So those were some of the humorous ones. And we should have the new name by August 1st. So there'll be a new logo, a new name, and we will send it out when we get it. Okay, next one. So these are some of the things that are happening right now in July. We are getting the office set up and we're hiring staff. As we're moving toward the future residence list, we want to have staff on hand to be able to answer questions. That list will open very soon. It's a wait list. It's important if you want to receive mail from Life Plan Humboldt about the wait list, make sure your physical address is on the mailing list. So if you want to just double check that, go to the homepage, and in the upper right-hand corner, it says sign up for updates. You can put any new information in there, and the mailing list will update your information. So if you add your physical address, that would be great. Next slide. So the rollout of the future residence list, which is coming soon, the first people that are going to hear the details of it and have access to logging on to make their deposit will be what we call shareholders. and those are the donors and volunteers. You will get, if we have your physical address, shareholders will get a package in the mail, which will help explain the future residents list. So you'll be able to see that. And then very shortly after that, there will be an email that goes out with the link so that you can get online and be among the first people to sign up for this. Then right after that, we will send out in the monthly newsletter, we'll send it out to everyone in the newsletter, which is about 1,670 people now. So anybody on the newsletter will get it. And only after everyone local has a chance to be on the future residents list, then we'll make it public by taking out ads or putting it on social media. The deposit is 100% repayable. If you're part of that group, you will be invited to events and activities. You'll get to see floor plans, ask questions before anybody else does. And once the architects have completed the community design, at that point, the way it works is, let's say you have the first 10 people who sign up. Of those 10 people, maybe only 3 are really interested in moving into the community when it opens. So those 10 people will get the chance to come in and look at the designs for the community and pick out what place they would like to be at. Some of them won't do it, some of them will, but then it rolls over the next 10. So the people in that first 10 don't lose their place. That'll always come back and ask them if they're ready. But, you know, some people are going to want to go in and actually say, that's my apartment, and put down a 10% deposit of the entry fee. And that is also 100% repayable. If you decide to put down a deposit, you know, when the designs are done and you saying, that's the apartment I want, that kind of holds that apartment for you until either the place opens and you move in, or you change your mind, or you move out of the area, or whatever happens. So we will talk about this more, and when we hire staff, they will be knowledgeable about this stuff and be able to talk to people about everything. But this is really an exciting stage to get to. And inside baseball is, you know, we're updating all of our computer systems and our software to be ready for this next stage. So all that's going on behind the scenes. It's very exciting. Okay, next slide. The benefits, if you sign up, it's a way to show you're interested in moving into LPH soon or in the future. You will be the first to receive updates, enjoy special gatherings, be the first to see floor plans and pricing, and you will be among the first to choose a residence as your future home. Next slide. So other things that have been happening, the first survey was completed. That was sent out to over 4,000 people in the community who had either expressed interest or they were age and income qualified. And what's amazing about this first survey is this is something that normally is used in what's called the Blue Sky Project. So we had to do it because it's apples to apples. When the bond market looks at us, they want to see how we compare to other communities. And usually on a survey like that, only 1.5% return the survey. We had almost 11% return rate. So we've always had to convince people who came here from out of the area that there was interest in this. And that's going to blow away the bond community, because the bond's where we borrow the money to build the community. And it's really a strong vote for just how much this community supports the project. Of those people who filled out the first survey, some of them said they would do a second, more detailed survey. That was emailed out July 9. And it needs to be completed by July 25th. So if you got it in your mail, it's a good time to do it. The first survey is informing, and the second survey is going to inform the architect. So for instance, we have a better idea now of the unit breakdown. How many people want 2-bedroom apartments? How many people want 1 bedroom plus den? How many want studios. So also what kind of amenities are important to people, what kind of dining plan they wanted. So all that information is going into the hopper and helping really refine what's going to be happening.
Right, it's shining the light on what we've been guessing about and talking to people about. And these surveys are done by this national company. They have the cred, street cred for the data that they gather and how they put it together. So we're very excited about it, and we're excited about being able to release it as we need it.
Yes, and the architects they've been waiting for the results of these surveys before they start drawing again, which I'm like, just draw it, just draw it. But they're gonna start again. So we're also applying for state licensing, which means we had to do a 3-year audit of our financials.
Oh, and fill out a
Big,
whole
big,
thing
big
of
form.
paperwork.
Big.
And what this is
Big.
the state has a way of assessing and approving residential care facilities. So they look at issues like, you know, the the physical space. They look at staffing. They look at
The-
meals. They look at activities.
Well, they have requirements for all that stuff. I
All
mean, we
that.
don't have that, but so that's also, getting that license informs what we will, legally have to offer. So that, level it's really interesting.
Right, and because we're looking at offering different levels of care as well, because this is a life plan community, so you get there and you stay. We need to make sure that we can meet all the criteria so we can do what we're saying we're going to do.
Next slide, please. So all this is going on. Wow, look at that. That is supposed to be the poster for, okay, we'll just fill you in.
Image could not be loaded.
Yeah, all right. Well, there you have it. So as you probably know, we're going to be having our Raise the Roof benefit in September on when is it? Oh, 4th, September 4th. At the beautiful Fieldbrook Winery. And it's great fun. The band this year is going to be doing
The
Beatles.
Beatles cover band.
Yeah, dancing and singing to the Beatles. And tickets are now available online. And unlike years past, you can ask, you don't have to buy a table. You can just ask to be grouped with people. Let us know if you want to sit with individuals. So invite your friends, make a table, come on out. Next slide, please. Raise the Roof has a fundraising goal this year. We want to build a landscape sidewalk and bike path on Hiller that will go all the way out to Central Avenue from the corner of our property. Right now, kids and bikes and people walk on Hiller and there's no sidewalks. So we want to make something that's really nice and safe, both for the people who will be living on the McKinleyville campus, but also for the neighborhood. So all the donations that are being raised during Raise the Roof are going to go toward that goal. And it turns out it's about what $275 a foot to build these things. Okay,
But there will be a road, there will be a way to walk on Hiller, which is very exciting. If you tried to walk along it, it can be a little dangerous.
so let's keep going. I don't know why those images didn't come through. That is our actual logo didn't show up, and it showed up on all our other things. I wonder why some of them, maybe because it's
Because it's electronic.
I don't know. Anyway, this is the last slide. Thank you. Gratitude to all of our supporters, all the volunteers and the donors. This is really such a community effort. People have given their time. The ambassadors are great about helping us with the mailings and making food for events and doing data entry. You wouldn't believe.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
The other thing I'm going to say is with our volunteers and our donors, but our volunteers, we sit down and we're working on whatever, mailings, planning, and we always have so much fun. And at every one of these meetings, someone will say, oh, this is just what it's going to be like when we live together. and that's a lovely feeling. And I'm sure there'll be times when we don't have all that fun and support, but just the fact that you have community and aren't isolated is it's such a gift.
And I just want to speak for the introverts in the audience. My plan is to be around people, but not talk to them. So, for those of you
So
who
it'll
don't,
be fun for you in a different way.
yeah, I'll be watching Pat hanging out around,
The wine
the
bar.
fire pit and the wine bar, and they're going to be talking, and I'll be like in watching my mysteries. So, I think there's a place for everybody.
Absolutely.
The new name of the community is coming up, and we really, really appreciate OLLI and what you guys do and all the volunteers. So thank you so much, and we open it up to questions and conversation if you have it. And remember to unmute before you ask a question.
And Sawyer, can you send your email and I will send you those video, the different things that didn't show up, and maybe you can put them on the screen?
Yes, absolutely. Let's do that. I'll chat it to you right now.
Okay, thank you.
So any questions? Well, raise your hand.
I want to simply mention that if you want to get the newsletter every week, you have to let Ollie know.
Once a month.
Oh,
Your newsletter.
your newsletter.
Oh, our Ollie newsletter,
Oh, okay. The OLLI newsletter comes out
which
once a
tells
week.
you what's coming up. You don't get it automatically when you become a member because some people were saying, I don't want to get that much email. So tell Ollie that you want to get the weekly newsletter because it tells you what's coming up, including brown bag lunches and including classes.
And Life Plan Humboldt, we usually send out one email a month. As it's getting a little busier, there's more emails going out, but that's how we communicate with each other these days. So questions, answers, thoughts?
Well, I say one thought. You guys have done a fabulous job, and I have been happy to invite you to present to update everybody routinely. So routinely, Anne sends me a proposal for the next session. So we're happy to have you here and happy to make this available to the community, to the OLLI community.
And we're now starting to focus in a little bit more on some of the things that we know will be important, which have to do with dementia. And we're talking to, sort of interesting that in looking at the new care for dementia, because we're all baby boomers, we're always changing something that the way it was done before, right? And so now it's dementia. And Montessori has a whole dementia project now. So, which is very interesting to me because it's taking the things you do in Montessori and setting them up so that people with dementia can have freedom and safety and be busy the whole time, hanging on to what they have. And it's a fascinating. There's a series. There's 2 books now. One of them authored by Susan Stevenson, who's a local Montessori person here. And then there's another great book called Creative Care, which is a similar thing by Ann Basting. And so that to me is the most exciting part, having worked in elder care for so long, to see that now people are really saying, okay, people are living longer. We have issues around dementia. How do we make this something that's real, positive, and not something that people are put off or treated like they're babies because they can't remember things. So that's something we're now starting to look at, is those levels of care for people, because we believe that that's a really important part of a project like this.
Yeah, because the concept is that once you're there, you can stay there indefinitely, even though you get dementia, even though you have physical issues. Can you describe a little bit what kind of facilities you have for people who can no longer just do assisted living in their homes?
Well, the first phase of this is going to be care in the home. So that's part of, we have to get the place up and running and built. So we're not doing the memory care unit initially. That's going to be phase 2. So
Right. It's one of the things that we're working on. Now that we have the land, we can take some of that energy and put it into the next step forward, and it will be exactly those things. And it will also be the other thing we've been starting to talk about. And Jerry, I see you're here. You may know about this too. We're starting to talk about healthcare needs and what do people need and what can we do to facilitate that in the community. which will make it good, not just for those of us in the community, but for the county, the northern counties as a whole. So that's something we're just starting to, we've been looking at it
We've
for a
been
long
studying
time.
it,
We've
yeah.
been studying, but
yeah,
we're actually
yeah,
starting to get some
yeah,
handle on it now
yeah.
that we can give up land purchase stuff. And if you read in our newsletter, you'll be seeing little pieces that are coming out about what we're thinking, what we're looking at doing. And anybody who's interested in that should get on our mailing list and throw your 2 cents in if you want to help or help create that as we move forward.
You know, I was thinking about activities and things that we would want to have on campus, and I was thought, we haven't said like having a meditation groups, and I thought we could have a improv comedy group. So I thought that would be a kind of fun thing.
That would be a really fun thing,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Initially, some of the designers wanted us to have bocce courts everywhere, and I like bocce, but I said people would rather be gardening than doing bocce. More people talking about gardening than talk about, you know,
Bocce, or
yeah.
even
I mean,
pickleball.
I think the people who were thinking that it thought we were like Santa Rosa, where it's sunny and warm, and it's like, well, we have a few months out of the year where you could go out and roll a ball.
The rest of the time we'd be in the mud, stuck someplace and not moving,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Will you have an activities center?
Yeah, there's going to be a community center with a commercial kitchen and also a community kitchen. And we want to build an outdoor area that will have a kitchen and performance stage also. There'll be classrooms for exercise and things like art classes. And, so they're going to be multi-use because, we're all in this strange financial world right now where we are trying to be conservative with our estimates so we actually can build something that's supportable. And so, we're gonna make it happen, and then we're gonna grow from there. So years ago when I was in San Francisco, I was part of a group that was about organically growing businesses. I think it was called the Norin, and it was actually related to Zen community, Norin group. But that idea of let's get up and running and functional, and then continue to improve as we go. I think that's what we're going to be doing now, and it's very much a community involved event. So residents are going to be the ones who are guiding what's going to happen on campus. And I've said in some of the speaking engagements, I've said, this is not where somebody's going to wait on you and bring you, a margarita while you're, well, maybe.
What? Yeah, wait a minute.
I'll bring you a margarita. But it's not a lounge chair cruise ship kind of thing. I mean, this is still Humboldt County, and we're going to be helping each other. We're going to be doing stuff and going out and hopefully reaching out to the community also. I think there's a lot of ways we can do things that help the Name community. I think, reading groups for kids, tours. We're going to have some wetlands that will be developed, and kids can come and do tours and see native planting. So there's different ways that we can make this still be part of Humboldt, still be involved. And of course we're in downtown McKinleyville, so it's easy to walk to Eureka Natural Foods or Ramon
The senior center.
or the senior, is there a
The
oh yeah,
yeah,
the
the
senior
senior
center
center,
at
the library,
Pearson Park. And
right?
yeah, so it's going to be an adventure. And it's very going to be exciting. It's very going to be exciting.
It's very exciting.
Very going to be exciting.
all of those things.
All right.
Julie, can you do me a favor? And can you put your email down here and I'll send you the notes with the different communities we've talked about that you can send out to people?
Well, it's also on our website.
Oh.
Yeah, if they go to the website, those other communities are on there.
Okay.
All right.
All right, never mind.
Looks like we've got a message from Alan in the chat.
Oh, good. Alan is his sister is a resident of Clark Lindsay in Illinois.
Right.
And I judge she loves it.
Alan, yeah, and a generation before, our aunt and uncle lived there. In both cases, they encountered multi-year waiting lists for occupancy. Do you foresee that happening here? Well, and that's one of the reasons that we really want local people to get on that waiting list before it goes public. So that even like 3 years from now, when this up and functioning and people are aware of this nationally, that the first people are gonna be asked are the local people.
Right, and Alan, I wanted to say, you know, we work a lot with Deb Reardon, who is the Clark Lindsay manager. They have just put together a huge expansion because of having so many people wanting to come in, and they, I think their waiting list is down now because they've been able to open up. I think they opened up like 100 more units or something. It was quite large, and so I don't know about what occupancy will be like here. We are really working to show everyone who's interested in investing, and it includes the bond markets, et cetera, that we have enough people to fill this. And so that's really what we're focusing on. We think probably we will have wait lists that people from out of the area, especially with the fires and the other things happening around the state alone, and then you know, students and families, that we will have more people coming in. But right now we're just trying to fill.
So if we're starting with 101 units, about half of them are gonna be couples. So the math on that's like 150 people in the Life Plan Humboldt community, and then the 50 affordable housing apartments. I think they're planning on building all singles, but that's not done yet. I shouldn't even say that because it's not decided. But that would add another 50 people. So you're looking at 200 people initially on campus, and then we have room to expand. So one of the ways we're saving money in construction, instead of developing the entire piece of land, we're going to develop the middle part, and affordable housing will develop their part. So that way we have a whole 1/3 that we can continue to put other units on. So that you know, the demand will help guide what happens in the second phase. Also, doing the first development in the center of the community means the construction is going to be over here when it's time to expand. But you know, like Ann, like you're not Ann.
My middle name's Ann.
When what Pat said is, we really want to get, you know, this initial step. You know, we need a 70% pre-sale to get the bond funding. So the pre-sale is the 10% entry fees. And once we achieve that, then the bond funding comes in and construction starts. And we're anticipating that those entry fee level pre-sales will happen early next year. So we are a rock rolling down the hill now.
Right, and we've been working with it, talking to the people who do bonds for these projects, and they've been really encouraging. And they've been letting us know what we need to prove to look good on the bond market, and we are nailing
We're
that.
nailing it.
We're looking
yeah.
we're looking really good, and we're getting that feedback from the people who are connected with the bond markets, who will be going out and doing that.
All the people said, "You country folk, you don't have enough to do this." Well, we're showing them.
Right,
Yeah.
That worked for Ollie too.
right, right. So Clark Lindsay,
Question,
just
Kate
back,
wants to know where exactly is the
Yeah.
site in
For
Finleyville?
Kay, I'm gonna share my screen really quickly. I pulled up the site.
oh, good. So it's in McKinleyville on Hiller, and right across from the shopping center. So if you see the Safeway there, if you're headed to the north, the stoplight on Hiller, there's a gas station. There used to be a little flea market that was there, but it's not there anymore. And then that's Hiller, and we have that whole piece of property that is eucalyptus trees and cow fields, and 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 that's what we will be working on developing.
So yeah, that's Central Avenue there. And so it's the south side of Hiller. It's west of Central. And it, you know, like that's the McKinleyville Town Center, and it's all within walking distance. And that, yeah, about 200 people total living on that property. So just as a reference.
Right, and it'll be the McKinleyville Town Center is the other thing that's being developed there.
So the 10% is not the total cost to be on the list. It's $1,000 deposit. Claudia had a question about that. So the future residents list, which puts you in line to someday move into the community when you're ready. It's $1,000 and that's utterly repayable. That goes into an escrow account. The escrow account is not something we touch. And it's there to be repaid to you if you want, for any reason you want your money back.
Right. Outdoor performance spaces, because it's Humboldt, we will have indoor space for that as well.
Indoor and outdoor.
Indoor and outdoor, and who knows how much it'll be indoor and outdoor. There are a lot of different creative ways of doing that, but we're hoping to have a few different activity spaces.
Yeah, and then I think if you ever went up to Fieldbrook, when Fieldbrook Market had that enclosed space outside, you know, and had a grill, but they had a covered area and there were lights and tables.
Heaters.
So there's ways to be outdoors, but still have some protection if the mist comes in as it does.
Right.
Okay, any other questions, y'all?
Well, yeah, there's one. Thank you for this terrific presentation. You mentioned an outdoor performance area. I was looking forward to an area for indoor performances too.
Right, and that's what we just addressed.
That's what you just said.
And the other
Okay.
thing people really important to people is being able to make music together. So we have a lot of musicians who are coming in all different kinds of music. So yes, there will be performances, and the way we're looking at it now, the space that will be the dining room, that's going to be a really big space. That might be you know, for larger events, but there'll be small rooms for performances also.
Yeah. And I just want to go back to the Clark Lindsay thing. You asked if we foresee having wait lists, and we, as baby boomers, we all are, we're all used to wait lists for different things. We don't know. We're only looking right now at foreseeing having enough people to be able to build this and put it together, and we'll go from there. But the need won't go away. That is for sure.
Okay, I want to thank you, everybody, for coming, and the two of you for presenting and doing all this work to make this happen, because it's a fantastic thing, fantastic development that is much needed and much appreciated, all the work you've done.
Right.
And I also want to let you know that next week we're going to be talking about OLLI, the Osher Bernard OLLI, how this started, what's happening, how it's evolved, because he created 125 OLLIs all over the United States at different colleges and universities. We were lucky enough to get a $2 million grant, basically, to we get 5% of that every year to help develop our programs and staff them. Want to let you know we have much better, you know, improved the staffing for OLLI, but Julie is our new OLLI coordinator, and probably the permanent one. Excuse me. And she'll be telling you how this all evolved, what the concepts were behind it, and what we're trying to do to implement that and make it bigger and better, because at one point we had 1,300, this was pre-COVID, we had 1,300 members, pardon me. And now, you know, we lost about 40% of our membership going online. That happened all over the United States with very few exceptions. So we're working very hard to build it up back to at least $1,000. $1,000, yeah, right. 1,000 members. And we look forward to seeing you next week again. Do join us and learn more about OLLI itself and our programs and our anticipations of what's coming. So thank you ever so much. Appreciate for coming. Thank you for presenting.
Thanks.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for allowing us to.
Thanks so much, JoAnn and Dr. Pat. And thank you, Jane. Really appreciate you.
Well, thank you, Sawyer. We appreciate you too.
All right, I'm going to start recording. Does anyone have any other questions or anything that they might need?
Janina, you were just